Hey guys, I'm going to be helping with the daily catch today. I'm pretty excited for this one. We're going to be talking about the story of David and Goliath, and that is in 1 Samuel chapter 17. And we're specifically going to be looking at verse 45. I might read to verse 47, but we'll see. And a little bit of background. So, I think it's important for us to use the Bible as a guide through life. And this past week, as you guys know, when Jordan was visiting Avery in California, I filled in for the announcements. And it doesn't seem like a huge feat, but for somebody who doesn't public speak and who lives in America where public speaking is a huge fear of everybody that lives there, it was pretty big. So a big step of faith and just a good opportunity to serve, and I just wanted to get it right, so I figured I'd go into the Bible and read David and Goliath again. So a little background on David and Goliath. David was appointed as king of Israel by God, and he was chosen not because of his outward appearance, but because of his heart and what God saw in his strength and faith, and how he leaned on Jesus or God, and and so he was the last of a family of brothers, the least likely to be appointed king, and he grew up a shepherd doing grunt work, working for the family, keeping the herds together, and fighting off bears and wolves and anything that tried to attack any of those sheep. So, and then when Saul went to war against the Philistines, David was kind of a helper. He was, I forget the name of it, the armor bearer maybe, but David was basically the right-hand man for Saul, one of his servants, and so he would go back and forth between being a shepherd and bringing things to Saul. And so Goliath was this big giant. He was 9'6" or something, just a huge guy. Everybody feared him, and for 40 days he would come out and proclaim that if anybody can defeat him in a challenge, then they would surrender to Israel. But if whoever challenged him was slain by him, then Israel would become slaves to the Philistines. So it was a big deal. Nobody stood up. Everybody feared Goliath, and the war just continued. The battle just continued, and then David comes onto the scene, and he talks to Saul. He's like, "Hey, let no man's heart fail because of him. Like we have God. Like let's use God's courage, God's strength, and God's power to get through this time." And so the specific verse that I want to read to you guys is verse 45. Then David said to the Philistine, "You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. And I will give the dead bodies of the host of the Philistines this day to the birds of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saves not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand." Oh man. So I just have a little note next to that saying amazing faith, because when I read through that, I was like, man, like David's nothing. Like he's the least likely to become king. He's not even in the battle. He's just a helper. Like he's nothing. But because he has such strong faith in God and his heart is postured towards God, he is fully confident that Israel will reign supreme and defeat the Philistines. And I think it's so cool that he steps in and he's just like, hey Goliath, you're nothing. Like, you're a giant to these people, but to God, you are nothing. God will crush you through my hands with the slingshot. And so, as you guys know, he ends up picking up some stones and slinging one and hitting Goliath in the head and killing him. And all that was for the glory of God. And it's just a really cool story, and it's really encouraging. And I just think that we need to remember that in times when we feel defeated or we feel discouraged, we're nervous about certain things, we just need to remember that God's with us. And as we stay in the Word continuously, we strengthen our faith and our relationship with God. And so, yeah, it's just a really good story, and I just think we need to remember when we're discouraged, God is everything, and we need to lean on Him. So thank you, and have a good day.